Drama, drama, drama on the Marvel front. I am so happy that Rob Liefeld was one of the first people to call Kevin Feige out publicly. In this video, we're going to talk about a lot of different things and how it fits into this Rob Liefeld situation. We're going to talk about how Kevin Feige has been shielded for all of these years and how creators are treated at Disney/Marvel, especially the minorities. Let's check it out. Let me preface this with, I actually like Kevin Feige. I really do. I think he has a very difficult job. I think he deserves way more credit for being able to create good, solid content in the midst of continuous chaos. It's been chaos from the beginning. Everybody feels like Marvel just had this grand plan from phase 1 to 3, and that's how they became a multi-billion-dollar studio, and it is so far from the truth. Marvel has had some of the craziest things going on behind the scenes since its inception, and now phase 4 and phase 5, people finally got to see the cracks in the armor that was always there. All that drama that happened behind closed doors finally manifested itself into the content. We started seeing things that didn't connect anymore. Bad CGI, things was just off. Now, some people are going to say Disney Plus is the problem. Bob Chapek put too much on Kevin Feige's plate and the content got diluted. And I don't think that's an excuse. Do you think Kevin Feige just woke up one day with a mandate that we're moving into the streaming game? No, they've known for years. There's been time to plan, get this together, and be prepped for this launch. And what we have saw in the past 5 years is creator after creator after creator shield him and they fall on the sword. PR puts out statements like, y'all don't be so tough on Feige. He's just stretched entirely too thin. I don't like it. Now back to why I'm glad Rob put his name on it, because Rob can say all this wild stuff and he'll be just fine. He gonna be okay. In America, there's this thing called patriarchy and racism. And when you have two white men gnawing at each other, they gonna be all right. It's just called passion with them. Rob is just out sticking up for the little guy. But on the contrary, you saw what happened when Victoria Alonso tried to speak up for herself. You saw how Nia DaCosta tried to take up for herself in a very professional manner because nobody from Marvel spoke up for her. You saw how Nate Moore is getting shot down every time he speaks. Mahershala Ali and that Blade production is in the void. Where is it? It's so bad that Mahershala's lawyers have to put out PR statements. Before yesterday, whenever Beau Demayo tried to speak up for his situation, people told him to shut up, while the Spider-Man kid can make wild, crazy statements about things possibly being woke and he didn't want to be involved in it, or he's scared it was going to be woke. But instead of that kid coming out and making a public apology, the black executive producer got to come out and try to tell us what exactly he meant. These are the people I care about, because if they're treating Rob Liefeld in a manner that's not up to par with industry standards, what do y'all think they're doing to other creators? Especially creators that look like us. First off, there's only a handful of us who get in the door anyway. So when y'all see me talking about things on Twitter, it's to take up for these folks who have signed NDAs. I don't have an NDA. I can say what I want, of course, within boundaries, not to defame nobody, all right? I'm walking a tightrope. But sometimes I can say some stuff and be okay, and I ain't got to worry about nothing, because guess what? I'm not trying to, work in Marvel or Disney. I'm okay. I don't have an NDA. Now, that damn Rob Liefeld and Beau Demayo, I'm sure they breaking some type of NDA, but they don't care. They blowing it up. They don't care. Now, I know quite a few people who work with Marvel, has worked with Marvel in the past, and I've never heard anybody say anything bad about Nate Moore. From what I've always been told, Nate Moore is a solid guy. I think he is put in a very tough position. I don't think people really understand what his role is and how he's sandwiched between creator, business, and the black face for the black people. I've always heard that Nate Moore is a buffer for the creators. His job is to show up on the Black Panther set, Falcon and the Winter Soldier set, and say, all right, Ryan, what's the story? All right, Malcolm, what's the story? How can I support y'all? Ryan over here on Black Panther and Malcolm Spellman over here on Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they get to tell Nate Moore, okay, this is what I need. Nate Moore then goes back to Feige and say, this is what we need on Black Panther, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Cap 4, Eternals. Feige then tells Nate Moore, tell Coogler, tell Malcolm Spellman, you can't use this character, that character, this is the budget, this is the timeline, get it done. Nate Moore then goes back to Coogler and Malcolm and say, this is what you got to work with. Go to work. Nate's job isn't to tell Ryan Coogler what kind of story to tell. Nate Moore's job is to support whatever that creative team has going on within the boundaries that they're given. He's not the director of Black Panther or Captain America 4. He's not the writer. If Ryan Coogler says, I want to move forward with Chadwick's version of T'Challa, or if Malcolm Spellman says, I want to tell a story about Isaiah Bradley, Nate Moore's job is to take that back to Feige, and Feige has to make that executive decision. There is no conspiracy at Disney to kill the Black King of Wakanda. As much as I love Ryan Coogler, but that was his decision and his team to make. Not Nate Moore. Nate Moore should not get the smoke for that. The real question is, could Kevin Feige have overwritten that? Yes, he's the boss. Kevin Feige could have told Ryan Coogler, nah, bro, this is what we gonna do. But what did Kevin Feige do? He moonwalked back and he let them boys rock out. And now Nate Moore has to continuously fall on the sword every time T'Challa is brought up because he feels like he's doing the right thing by supporting the creative, which is Ryan Coogler, and he takes all that smoke every single time. And Kevin Feige, as the boss, has yet to come out recently and say, look, y'all, ease up on Nate. Kevin could come out and say, listen, I know people are passionate about T'Challa. This is the decision that was made in collaboration, and I understand this is an ongoing topic, but for right now, my decision with T'Challa is X, Y, and Z. Come out and just protect your people. Nate Moore also gets smoked for saying, we don't like to hire people who are comic nerds. People get mad at Nate like he made that rule. That's your boy, Kevin Feige. Why don't nobody give Feige no spoke? That's why I'm so glad that Rob Liefeld says he feels like Kevin Feige doesn't respect the comic books and the comic creators.
Literally forgot to add this. Kevin Feige does not treat comic book creators well. That is my personal experience, especially given everything that I just told you. And I'm going to tell you right now, again, these, it's so easy.
That's a Kevin Feige mandate, not a Nate Moore rule. But Nate Moore has to take all the flack for that. Thor: Love and Thunder was trash. Why Feige ain't get no smoke for that? Taika Waititi did. But Kevin Feige sound off on that crap to come out. But nobody said nothing about Kevin Feige. I also don't like, right before the Jonathan Majors trial started, or maybe in the middle of it, I don't like that there was an article from insiders from Disney laying out how the black folks is the problem at Disney. Now, the article was not written overtly that way. It wasn't explicitly said. But when you read it, you can kind of say, damn, y'all saying Nia DaCosta just abandoned ship and didn't want to finish editing her movie. Mahershala Ali is this overbearing actor who's running away all the directors from Blade movie. Jonathan Majors' version of Kang just ain't sticking to the audience. So even though he hasn't been found guilty yet, Marvel is ready to pivot from Kang. Not that at the last damn minute, y'all reshot Ant-Man 3 to make his character lose the fight when originally he wins. Y'all set that man up for failure. Kevin Feige is literally the president who has executive power to say, nah. Kang is our Thanos. He ain't going out like that. He getting bodies. Michael Douglas literally said, I wanted my character to die in Ant-Man 3. But instead, y'all say, nah, let's let Hope Van Dyne hit Kang with some fireworks to beat him up. But that article was framed like, oh, Jonathan Majors just really isn't working out at the moment for Marvel. Kang just isn't really connecting with the audience. That's not a Jonathan Majors issue. He the actor. Everybody loved his acting for the most part. It was the storytelling that was the problem. And who allowed this story to continue this way? The boss, Kevin Feige. Secret Invasion could have been a major event within the MCU. Sam Jack finally gets his own thing. It didn't land with fans because of expectations for the comics. So that didn't do well. That was a series led by Sam Jack. We don't know what's going on with Blade, and now Armor Wars is shelved, okay? It's gone. When I'm looking at this track record, it seems like there's an issue with Marvel and black folks outside of Ryan Coogler. That's just what it looked like. I ain't saying that's what it is, but you can see how it looks that way. But they love Ryan Coogler. And I love Ryan Coogler too. Oh, they love him. He's soft-spoken. He don't really kick up too much dust. But they know Coogler don't really play about his production either. He's built enough wingspan where he can operate how he wants to operate. But guess what? After Black Panther hit Billy and Ryan is engulfed in the business and he's seeing how things operate on the finance side, he probably said, I just made y'all $1 billion. Chadwick just passed away with $2 to $3 million to his name. I'm working on this Rocky franchise. It's $1 billion universe. And I see Sylvester Stallone crying about ownership and money. Coogler probably was like, hey man, I gotta start working on my own stuff, my own IP. And this is how he sounds that lucrative deal with Sinners. He's got a pretty solid situation going on over there with Warner Brothers. Now, I don't like Warner Brothers at all. I think they are the worst of the worst. But Coogler made a decision to do what he got to do for him, his family, his team, his art, and his production company. I say that to say I don't like how creatives, specifically minorities, are being treated at Disney. And I don't even watch Star Wars, but I'm hearing it's similar situations with John Boyega and the Acolyte. You know, what's going on? Now, the Beau Demayo situation is very tough to speak on because there's so many different layers and he's involved in an ongoing lawsuit with Disney at the moment. My advice to Beau would be just stop talking publicly until your situation is squared away. But then a part of me understands he may feel like, nah, y'all playing with me though, and I want to get it out. What I will say is he has the same attorneys as Justin Baldoni. So I don't know if his attorney's game plan is, yo, you have the right to speak publicly if you want. They're doing the same thing with Justin Baldoni. Baldoni is putting up a website documenting his side of the story, and it feels like they've given Beau that same green light to take up for yourself. I also feel like this is where like racism and stereotypes come into play. They probably felt like Beau was the happy, gay, light-skinned comic lover who should be grateful that we even gave him an opportunity. And they probably thought they were going to be able to push him around a little bit, and they didn't think he was going to be as vocal. And maybe when he started speaking out of turn a little too much, they got him up on it. Are there other parts to what Disney may feel about him? They said he was let go for egregious reasons. This is what I'll say. Before all that stuff hit the fan, for the most part, a lot of people on that X-Men 97 team still follow Beau, still engaged with him publicly. So if he was this aggressive, eccentric, raging boss who had an OnlyFans page, was he sexually harassing people? Beau said, and I'm only repeating this because it's public now, he said he was the one telling HR about how people are having inappropriate relationships at the job. So was he being egregious, or was everybody being egregious and they just focused to get him up out of there because he was kicking up too much dust? What I will say is, I don't like that they took away that man's writing credit for season 2. That season was done. He cooked it up for y'all. Keep his playbook, but they got so mad at him that they scrapped the whole season 2 and said, we just gonna write it all over. Like, they got that mad that he was not being quiet. He was still associating himself with X-Men, that it seems like that's why his credits were stripped away. And I say to this, with X-Men being such a large brand, global, been around for years, does that now mean that he can never say anything about X-Men ever? Like, is he barred from speaking on X-Men moving forward? I can understand the NDA maybe saying, okay, you can't talk about things that happen while you was at Marvel, but once you guys have parted ways and everybody's moved on, if the man want to post in his yellow Cyclops costume with his six-pack showing, is he not allowed to do that? Because y'all fired me? Like, that's what it seems like. It seems like Beau was still uploading pictures of fans sending him, like dressed up like Cyclops. He's still like supporting the brand of X-Men, and it felt like Marvel was like, bruh, like stop. You stepping out of bounds, so now I'm gonna pull your season 2 credits. That what it seemed like. I don't know. Everybody has their day in court, or maybe he gets a nice little check and gets to kick his feet up in Malibu, and it doesn't go that far. Who knows? It's an ongoing situation. Now, I'm not going to get into the Rob Liefeld stuff too much because, like I said, Rob Liefeld is going to be okay. He's a little mad because he felt like he was disrespected. He does not like Kevin Feige, and he feels like Kevin does not respect the source material. He feels like he was treated better by Fox, and when Deadpool moved over to Disney, he was not treated right. He said he had been emailing Marvel back and forth for a while, Kevin Feige, Bob Iger, to get tickets to the premiere, and things got heated between his team and Marvel. He said this was happening like maybe, some year ahead of time. And he said when he got to the premiere, everything was awkward. Kevin didn't acknowledge him. They're taking pictures on the red carpet, but the photographers was instructed to delete all the pics of Liefield and his family. Yo, that's kind of cold. Like that man up here posed up with his family, and somebody from Marvel like, delete all the pics. Yo, that's rough. He said after the movie was over, he was told him and his family couldn't get into the after party. Now, everything that he's saying happens all the time. The creator of the comics that The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was based on couldn't get into their premiere. They had to call Sebastian Stan to come outside and get them in. Beau Demayo said Disney didn't want to pay for X-Men 97 wrap party, so he paid for them himself. Also, when X-Men 97 was nominated for an Emmy, Beau said Disney didn't give him access to attend the Emmy. So Liefield is kicking up dust for something that may seem minor to others, but my concern is if you're doing it to him, imagine how people lower on the totem pole is being treated. He also said something that was kind of funny. He was like, James Gunn flew like 30 creators who was involved in the Superman comics to the set of the Superman movie. He said Kevin Feige found out and tried to one-up him and did the same thing for the Fantastic Four set. And Rob was like, finally, somebody else is making you want to compete on behalf of the creators because you've never done something to this magnitude before. Yo, Rob don't like Kevin, bro. Like I've always said, Kevin Feige is in the movie business. He's not in the business to take comic book adaptations and turn them into films. He's always preferred people, especially on the director and writer side, to come into Marvel, not being these super comic book nerds. It feels like he feels comic book nerds don't know how to make movies. So unfortunately, due to capitalism, he likes to have a team of people who can make money for the general public, not this pocket of comic book readers. And this isn't a Kevin Feige thing. A lot of times when you're doing a book to film adaptation, things change and they want creators who are not so like confined to the source material. But people have always said that Feige here recently, as studios making more money, may not hold people in the comic world to the best standards. I don't know. That's just what the folks are saying. Okay, that's what the people say. Rob Liefeld said it, not me. I didn't say it. Okay, Disney, I don't want to be involved. Okay, I'm just a YouTuber, just speaking what the people saying publicly. All right. And last but not least, another person who took the fall that I didn't like, the Victoria Alonso firing was a farce. They hung that woman out to dry and threw a grenade at her. And I'm so glad when they fired her, she sued them and got a hefty payout because y'all tried to play in that woman's face. In what world is a company having so many issues that the president ain't being called out on nothing? Victoria Alonso has been there from jump. All of a sudden, she's somehow to blame for the VFX being bad in the MCU. She is in the same role as Nate Moore. Her job is to talk to the VFX houses. This is the budget. This is the deadline, get the job done, call me if you need me. Now, what probably happened was, and I'm not even gonna say problem, I've been in corporate America too long. What most likely happened is Bob Chapek told Kevin Feige, get this content going, my boy, fast, hurry up. Feige tells Victoria, all the special effects people tell them to hurry up, we need to get them to finish this quick. Victoria goes down to the special effects people like, come on y'all, let's go. We gotta get this going. And you end up with people, the creatives at the bottom, stressed out, overworked, underpaid, and somehow it's Victoria Alonso's fault? Is it her fault that she was barking orders at these people that was barked down on her? She didn't do nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing. So instead of firing her for being mean to VFX workers, y'all fired her for going to work on an Amazon movie, even though y'all gave her permission to do it. And she had emails and a paper trail to back it up. She fell on the VFX sword. It was reported to so many different outlets that the special effects are so bad because of Victoria Alonso. She was taking the blame because she was given a directive from somebody above her that she just gave to those VFX houses. I'm glad she won her lawsuit. Listen, they wasn't even in litigation with her for long. They went on ahead and cut her check so quick because she ain't do nothing wrong. This all boils down to, I want Feige to be a better leader. Do what's right for your creators. You're literally in charge of the whole Marvel system, comics and all. Just take care of your folks as best as possible. And when things get tough, man, look out for your folks. If you really care about DEI, Black creatives, Black comic book characters, do your best to set everybody up to win. It shouldn't just be Ryan Coogler. He shouldn't be the one Black director out of all these movies. Him, the director of Cat 4, and Nia DaCosta. 3 Black directors after all these movies. And as it stands right now, the way things is looking, Ryan Coogler is going to be the only successful one because Nia DaCosta's movie didn't do well, and right now, Cat 4 isn't tracking well. So, man, just look out for people, Feige. That's all I gotta say. Look out for people. But yo, thanks for hanging out with me. I just wanted to get some of that stuff off my chest. Jeez.